Cowboys OT is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Sleep Number. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Cowboys fall to 6-5 on the season after putting up just 9 points at Gillette Stadium against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Short week, though, Thanksgiving right around the corner. Welcome into Cowboys OT at the Star in Frisco. I'm joined by Barry Church and Nate Booten, Lindsay Draper here. And where do we even begin? Is it with the way the special teams played today out there in the rain? The tripping call at the end that was just so wild and weird when the Cowboys picked up a third down? I mean, where do we start?
I think you start with the hidden yardage and special teams. When you go on the road, y'all have heard me say this for 1,000 times. When you go on the road, it's all about special teams, run game, and defense. I think our special teams blew it for us today. I mean,
You're not wrong when you say that. There were multiple things.
A block punt. Mm-hmm. Then we don't know how to receive a kick. We messed that up 3 or 4 times. And those hidden yardage right there really hurt us. Then we couldn't get a punt off. Yeah. We got 2 flags. We could have been on the 20, but we wound up on the 38. That's not good.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Special teams definitely kind of dug a grave for us today. You got my guy, he didn't get back in time to recover the kickoff. It was in the air. I just don't understand. Like, no kicks have been going deep all game. You still stay at the goal line.
Goal, by the way?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to miss field goal. I'm sorry.
Missed field goal, the block punt. I mean, special teams definitely caused a lot of damage today. But, you know, and the other 2 phases did pretty well, but special teams kind of dug a hole for us.
Well, let's go to the highlights. And the first one, in the first half, we're going to see Chris Jones punt blocked by Matthew Slater. Rain is just coming down sideways here at Gillette, and it's freezing cold out there. We knew it was going to be an ugly one. This is what you see at the beginning.
Right up the middle. I don't know how they got through the middle like that. That's supposed to be the strong point of your punt protection team. Right up the middle. This was a huge, costly mistake for the Cowboys.
It's 3 or 4 guys that he brings every year. Slater, Bolden, Beffa. It's 3 or 4 guys that they specialize in being special teams. And it paid off today for Matthew Slater. As you see him right there coming through, clean block. I think they got 7 points off of that.
They did, 7 points.
Oh, they sure did. After getting great field position on the 12, Tom Brady finds N'Keal Harris for a touchdown.
And this is a rookie right here. He missed a lot of the opening games because of an injury, but these past couple weeks he's come on strong. You see him right there making a great contested catch on Byron Jones for the only TD of the game.
Yeah, but you know what? Like to me, Byron, I haven't played corner, but looked like he was in great position. All I had to do was attack the ball.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. All he had to do was kind of bat it down. But
yeah, it's kind of hard, man. When you're up there in Foxborough, the weather is bad. You got to make adjustments.
Bad snap here, and Stephon Gilmore does his thing against Dak Prescott.
Yeah, up here, snap up high. Dak does a great job of getting it. He tried to flick it out there. But Gilmore is one of the best. He just accelerated through the ball, as you see right there. Boom. He ran the route for Amari on that one.
Pats would settle for a field goal after this one. So then we have Prescott going to Randall Cobb on 3rd down. Incomplete. Just didn't have the touch early on in the game.
No, he didn't. He was trying to find his way. We saw him film where they're trying to find him 800 gloves. After a while, it started messing with your head, Barry. It started getting to your head. Somebody should have just grabbed him and say, Dak, you okay? Let's just rock and roll, you know?
Let's just rock and roll. Stop worrying about the throwing hand glove. Well, he switches to the glove and finds Michael Gallup for a gain of 22, but the Cowboys would stall out and settle for yet another field goal.
We didn't see enough of this. We didn't see enough of this Dak-Gallup combination. We knew Cooper going against number 24, Gilmore, was going to be tough, but I thought Gallup would step up.
Yeah.
All right, here we have Amari Cooper. Looks to be in some sort of pain, but this is called back for a holding penalty with Tyron Smith.
Now that was big. Every time you try to get something going on 3rd and long, a 2nd and short versus the run or versus a pass, it seemed like they would come up with a timely penalty, or we would come up with an untimely penalty, and they would make a great play. And so it kind of stalled us all day.
All right, here you have Michael Bennett getting to James White on third down to have the Patriots get another field goal out of this.
This was a huge play by Bennett right here. It stopped them from getting a touchdown, had them to 3, which kept the boys in the game. I didn't see that much interior pressure from him and Collins all game, though.
Did not see enough from the defensive line. Well, here's a big gain for Randall Cobb that almost went wrong. It was very scary, but yeah, Randall Cobb putting something together for the Cowboys here in the second half.
I think Jason McCourty was out. They had backups in, but their DBs are nice, man. Their DBs, they started the game with 19 interceptions. I think they ended up with 20.
There's right here. Dak, it looks always hindsight's 20/20. You want him to run it there?
You know what? You want to, but you know what? I'm not out there. I'm not feeling that pressure. Dak is feeling that pressure, so he made his decision. We got to live with it.
Field goal out of that.
There's Heath right there. That was one of the great adjustments they made, just putting Heath on James White on third down.
Oh, yeah, man. Courageous, shoulder barely hanging on by threads. Courageous performance today by Heath.
All right, here we go. Ezekiel Elliott, 3rd and 1, picks it up, but there seems to be some sort of tripping action underneath with Travis Frederick, and I'm sure we're going to get another look at it, but it is not tripping indeed, according to all of America.
I just don't understand how you can call this tripping. I mean, all he was doing was kind of opening his hips to help the block, and the guy just fell. I just don't see how you can call that. I think it was a terrible call. It ended up costing the Cowboys huge.
One of our best players, he never tripped in his life, and all of a sudden he get a trip.
up in Foxborough?
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Yep, that was 3rd and 1. The Cowboys picked it up, moved him back to 3rd and 11. Well, Dak finds Amari Cooper here, but the ball connects with the ground. It rolls incomplete. And that's your game.
It just goes to show you how huge that tripping call was. I mean, we had the first down picked up on our way to do damage.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time. Just shy of 2 minutes. But that was the game for you. And you look at the final stats, everything really shook out to be even on both sides of the ball. But Nate, you said it.
It's the hidden yardage in the special teams that we did not come up with. It was the block punt that we didn't block very well, and then the interception. So that hidden yardage along with the turnovers, it made the difference in this game.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here from the studio. When we come back, more analysis and thoughts for the Cowboys on tonight's performance out there in Foxborough after this. Here on Cowboys OT, 13-9 final today. So we got to talk about the offensive struggles. Obviously, the rain changed the game up, Barry and Nate, but for the league's top offense, give me an answer.
I mean, I feel like there was a lot of self-inflicting wounds. A lot of penalties, a lot of phantom penalties, I should say. There was the holding, the 2 tripping calls that kind of got us started behind the 8 ball. But I feel like when you're starting you're starting your drive within your 20-yard line. I mean, you're not even fair catching. You're trying to return it out, and you're still within your 20-yard line. It's just an uphill battle against a great defense. You're not going to be able to drive 80 yards down the field each and every drive against a defense like that. But starting ourselves behind the ball is not going to help.
You start on the 18. You start on the 11. You fumble. You catch a ball. You fumble. You make a mistake. You can't do that. Our offense did not play well tonight, and then the weather. It's raining, it's blistery. You see our quarterback there on the sideline trying to get his mind right so he feel he can grip the ball and throw it a little better. So it didn't bode well for us tonight because we started in bad field position. Then we didn't help ourselves with some of the passes that we threw early, and then we didn't feed Zeke enough.
That's what I was going to say.
Zeke was in a rhythm. So you got to give it to him a little bit more. That's whether you passing it to him out of the backfield or you handing it to him. The O-line was moving those guys off the rock, so we should have been a little more confident in what we was doing with Zeke earlier in the game. As the game went on, you had to play it out. It was played.
This is true.
We're looking at the offensive, the woes, the numbers here. Did it look to you guys like, obviously, yes, it was raining, but did it look like Amari was a little off to you today?
Yeah, it seemed like he wasn't getting in and out of his breaks as explosive as he usually is. I don't know if that has to do with the rain or if the coverage from Gilmore was that sticky, but it did seem like he was a little off today. The connection between him and Dak Prescott just wasn't there. But I got to give kudos to Gilmore. He's one of the top corners, if not the top corner in NFL for a reason. He was able to get the job done today.
Sometimes you just got to stand up big and kind of, take your position and try to make plays. Today, they made the more bigger plays. Gilmore played a super game on Amari. It took a minute for Gallup to get warmed up. We see Witten dropped a few balls. We see my man Blake Jarwin, he catch a ball, then he turn around. Instead of just going, he hesitated. So everybody was cognizant of that ball. and it hurt us.
To me, it didn't even seem like this was you go up there, you're maybe intimidated a little bit by the Patriots. Like, it just seemed like it was all self-inflicted. You could have won this game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean,
this wasn't like you were blown out or didn't come to play up to the game.
You could have won. 0 for 2 in the red zone.
They wanted to make it ugly. They wanted to put Dak in a tight situation. They did that when they became 3rd and long and several times back to back. They wanted that. They wanted him to throw into bad wind. Dak can say in college he faced this, but up to this point, he's never faced that type of defense.
This is true.
All right, quote from Jerry Jones coming in saying, with the makeup of this team, I should not be this frustrated. I mean, that sums it up for me as well. When you look at the talent, the names you've got on this roster.
You got depth all over the place. And when we was coming out of the training camp, he said, hey, this is the youngest team we had sprinkled in with the right type of veterans, and we got depth on this team. All we need now is for our coaches to put things in place and allow these guys to execute. They played well. But like I said, when you play a championship caliber football team, you cannot play with penalties. You cannot play with turnovers. You cannot play with interceptions. Those are the things that beat them today. And that is the lack of maturity at this point. They're going to have to mature, tighten up, play cleaner games.
Yeah, that's why they say, Super Bowls aren't won on paper.
No.
And, I mean, you have all this talent. You have all this that you got going on both sides of the ball. You got to find a way to bring it together and have a complete game. We've been saying this all season. One phase will play, the offense will play great, then the defense will lack off. The defense will play great, offense will lack off. Now it's a kicking game. You just got to have one complete game, and hopefully we can get that going forward.
And how tough is it to get a complete game? I mean, surely it can't just be luck.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm asking questions that don't really have answers, I don't think. But when we come back, we got the answers for the Cowboys defense for you right after this on OT. Continuing here on Cowboys OT, we're finally taking a minute to talk about this defense, guys, and I guess holding Tom Brady to 13 points is something to be maybe celebrated a little bit.
I think so. I mean, in Foxborough, being able to hold that team, I know the weather was kind of bad and it kind of favored the defense, but they did a great job out there smothering those receivers and kind of frustrating Tom Brady.
You know what? We still need turnovers.
That's true, too.
You're right.
Still need turnovers.
You're right.
And so, I've rah-rahed long enough, and we need turnovers. We need big plays so you can help your offense have that short field.
Today.
Yeah, so we thought coming up the middle with Bennett and with Malik Collins that things would be in our favor. We got there one time with Malik Collins. Other than that, he had a relatively clean pocket. So we have to go back to the drawing board and find a way to get our players home.
This is true. And, I will say this, though. I'm extremely impressed with the way the secondary played as a whole.
That was a positive.
They were smothering Edelman. He did come away with, I think, 8 for maybe 86, but those were kind of like hidden yardages here and there. I feel like this secondary played great. With the time Brady had back there to throw the ball, I mean, he was in the pocket for all day, and he was able to go out there, and they were able to lock down and pretty much smother that whole receiving core.
Lewis on top of Edelman. We had Jeff Heath on top of the running back.
Hanging on.
And so these guys, they showed you what they're made of. It's just, we got to make plays.
Got to.
When you go on the road against a team that don't make those bad mistakes like the average team, because New England's not average. They're a team, they're a veteran team. They got young guys in place that understands what their roles are, and they play to that. They play to that pedigree. They play just championship football. They know they was up against a great weaponized offense, but they handled their business. They took the main guy out of the game. That was Amari Cooper, and that fell back onto our other receivers, and they gave them just enough plays to bog down.
This is true.
Go ahead, Barry.
One thing I was going to say that didn't impress me was the tackling out there. I mean, it was wet, but I mean, there was a lot of tackles and a lot of hidden yardages that you kept talking about that we've seen out there because of the missed tackles.
And what did you think of the way the linebackers played today? Sean Lee having to step in with Leighton not suiting up.
I feel like they played decent. I didn't think it was their best game, but it wasn't by far their worst game at all. I think they did a great job of bottling up James White when he's coming out of the backfield as a receiver. They just weren't able to make the necessary plays to get the win.
What hurt them was they opened up each half with nice runs. And then that put our defense in a two-way play. They just couldn't lock in on the run or the pass. You know, Barry, y'all can just get a team to pass, then y'all can start bringing blitzes, y'all can start going into coverages that you specialize in, but they couldn't do that early. When they came out with Sony Michel hitting us 5-5, 5-3, and all of a sudden, they hit a little dink here, a little dunk there. So it kept our guys back on the heels.
Yeah, and there was a lot of first down runs too. So
yes.
It was making it manageable second downs, manageable third downs, and with a guy like Tom Brady, you can't do that. He'll eat you alive all day.
All right, when we come back, the not-so-special teams for the Dallas Cowboys today. That is next. We'll discuss it all on Cowboys OT. Here we are continuing on Cowboys OT, talking about the special teams, and I think Jerry Jones, who we may hear from later, I'm getting tweets of him saying special teams is totally a reflection of coaching. I should not be this frustrated. I mean, this seems to be what the game completely came down to. If Jerry wants to talk, he's going to talk and let his words be heard, and he's letting people know he's very unhappy about this.
Well, starting last Monday, every one of us had a show, and it was about special teams and how Coach Belichick takes just as much time with his special teams as he does with his offense. As you see right here, Slater came through with a block, clean, got his hands right perfect placement, didn't even touch the punter, took it right off his foot. That is a guy that Coach Belichick brought in and personally told him, we'll give you a few plays, but your job is to do special teams. So for 15 plays, here's your money.
And he's been doing that.
And they've been doing it. Bolden, Justin Bethel, Nate Abner, these guys are special teams gurus, and we should know where they're at all times.
At all times. Like you said, Slater's been doing it for, 10 years now. So he's been doing it. You got to know where he is at all times. 3 kickoff returns for a total of 6 yards is what we had on our kickoff return team. That just can't happen. You might as well just stay in the end zone and get a touchback to have a better starting opportunity than returning it for 6 total yards. Plus, like you mentioned, the one block punt that allowed the one touchdown of the game. It just wasn't a good day for our special teams overall, and they got to step it up going forward if they want to make any type of noise in the playoffs this season.
What are you guys thinking as far as where do you go from here? How do you address special teams? Just say you're going to maybe communicate better, come up with some groundwork rules? I don't know, going forward.
I hate to say this because we heard it before. You have to learn real quick. You go look at the week, okay, we got Buffalo. You don't really have a chance to look at this whole film, but you got to pick out 5 or 6 plays in the situation that it created. And you have to look at that so that Buffalo won't come in here and repeat that, because they're going to have 4 or 5 plays. They're going to say, this is what happened against New England. Let us try that. So you at least got to be aware of how to block that. And a lot of it is common sense. If the wind is blowing at 800 miles an hour and it's blowing towards you and you're getting ready to get a kickoff, you got to know that wind is blowing and you got to move up.
Got to adjust.
That's on the player and that's more on the coach. You got to just say, hey, move up.
You're looking right here at the numbers from today. 3 kickoff returns, 6 yards.
Communication to me is the key for all of this. We've seen it happen a few weeks ago in Minnesota. The fair catch, the communication was bad. This kickoff return, 6 yards total. We don't know where to stand. Kickoff return, that's a communication. That block punt coming straight up the middle, that's supposed to be your strong point of your punt block your punt protection. And they just communicated, and he came straight through there. Yes. So communication to me is the key on getting this special teams unit turned around.
And what are the coaches going to do to handle this? Jerry Jones is vocalizing that he's really not happy with this. Is this a coach-to-coach type of discussion?
No, the coaches will come in tomorrow morning or later on tonight. They may meet on the plane depending on how severe they think this is. They probably wait till tomorrow to correct it so you can do what you have to do. But you have to let your players know this is a short week. So they're only going to take 5 or 6 plays out of this and show it to their team. Yeah. Say, hey, these plays can't happen. This is how we adjust. And they got to move on because Buffalo is coming.
They're coming. 4 days.
So now you got guys that are beat up, hurt, not only physically, but mentally, you got to get past that. So they're going to show 4 or 5 clips of these special teams, 4 or 5 clips of the offense, defense, and then they're going to move on because they got Buffalo.
And we've got we talked all week long about it. This was number 1 offense, number 1 defense. Well, you read right there, the Cowboys are ranked 32nd in kickoff return and 28th in punt return. It's almost like we did talk about it on our shows, but I think I underestimated how important that would be today.
Not me. Actually,
let me rephrase that. I underestimated how the
important
Cowboys
it would be to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Yes, today.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This thing here, when you're a championship team, and I keep saying championship team, is you pay attention to details. You pay attention to if you see a guy that's lollygagging on the punt return or the punt block, or you see a guy that'll run out of his lane and cause a natural crease, you take advantage of it. Some coaches, like Coach Belichick, Coach Johnson used to be like this. Coach Joe Arizona used to be like this. We used to have certain guys, if they gave us a certain situation or a certain laziness about their game, we attacked them. And it didn't matter what time of the game, if we figured it was the right time, we was going to attack them.
Did you guys expect maybe some more from Tavon Austin to just bring the juice to the special teams a little bit?
He wasn't even back there returning punts, if I believe. I thought, they would put him back there just, like you said, to have that juice, to have that explosiveness needed for the special teams unit. I mean, it's just something
No, sir, Mr.
Nate,
Chair.
You don't think so?
You're
No,
shaking
sir.
your head no?
When they went up there and the weather was what it was, the rain and the wind and all of that, they wanted safe punts. They wanted guys that were going to make sure they caught the ball, understood what was going on. That guy is Randall Cobb. Now, if Randall Cobb could have got some yardage, they would have. But I'm telling you, when you go against a number 1 ranked special teams, that is they hitting gym. They're going to beat most teams because they're not going to make mistakes, and they're going to make plays with their special teams.
So you feel as though Cobb was the safe bet, so you would have rather played it safe than get some yardage out of that?
Yeah, I got to play it safe because every time we've had a turnover, it has cost us.
This is true.
All right, there you have it. From Nate and Barry, when we come back, we will let you hear from Jason Garrett, Jerry Jones, and some Cowboys from the locker room, see what their thoughts are now that they're 6-5 going into the Thanksgiving game. Welcome back into Cowboys OT, live from the Star in Frisco. Barry Church, Nate Newton, Lindsay Draper continuing with you here. We are moments away from hearing from head coach Jason Garrett. What do you all think that the media is going to ask first?
It's got to be special teams. I mean, that's going to be the main thing going for this presser coming up is what happened today?
With the rain, with the wind, with all of this, and for much as they wanted to kill Zeke last week, now they're gonna be asking, well, why not more of Zeke? So you're not gonna be able to satisfy anybody. But the thing that hurt us in this game was truly special teams, the field position or the lack of good field position, the block punt. And we can go on and on about that, but I really would like to hear what Coach Garrett got to say because it's going to be very direct.
All right, let's go right now and hear from both Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones.
For you guys in the game?
Yeah, I think they mixed that up. Certainly Gilmore was on him a lot, but they played different coverages throughout the game, so it probably wasn't on every play.
Also in the kicking game, they seemed to do a lot of shorter kicks and kind of buried the length. What were they doing there, and how were you responding to that?
Yeah, again, the conditions were a factor, and then they were kicking it shorter, and they were hard balls to catch. And in each of those situations, when they did kick it short, one time we fumbled, and one time, we just didn't handle it. So the wind and the weather was a factor, and again, we didn't handle the ball quite well enough in those situations, and didn't put ourselves in favorable enough field position.
How tough is it to drive on that defense in this weather when you're backed up? I think your best field position was at 36 maybe, and most of the fourth quarter you were at 15-8.
Yeah, certainly a challenge. It was a challenge for both offenses today. And again, I thought the defenses played well. It was that kind of a game, cold, rainy, tough conditions to handle the football. So you just have to keep banging away and try to give yourself an opportunity to win the ball game at the end.
Team tripping penalties. Was there more than any emphasis on that, or were you guys doing anything different?
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've never seen that before.
The stat that you have no wins against a team with a winning record, does that matter? Does it matter being able to play and beat teams that have winning records, good teams, playoff bound teams?
It really doesn't matter to us. Obviously, this is a really good football team. I think they've won 20 in a row in this building, and their history of success is well documented. So we knew it was going to be a great challenge today, and unfortunately, we came up short.
I'd had a lot of weather games, not necessarily with Cowboys, but in his collegiate career. So I felt good about it. It is a significant setback for our team. We needed this win. We needed to win against an opponent like this. We haven't had them, and consequently, we're very aware of that. And so we dig a hole that we've got to really have a challenge as we look at the rest of the schedule. But I thought that I'm surprised that we didn't get touchdowns and score touchdowns even in the weather. I thought our defense played well, but that's not their strength either. This year is their offense, and so it didn't surprise me to see us play well. It surprised me to see us really take the setbacks we took in special teams.
You mentioned not scoring touchdowns. What did you feel about the decision to kick the field goal on 4th and 7 late in the game?
Well, when it was fourth down and long, after the leg tripping calls.
Well, this would have been
after 4th and 7.
Down in the red zone.
Red zone.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to second guess calls at this particular time in that area, but that at the end of the day, we just got ourselves in this spot of where we need to win a game like this, and you come into New England at this time where these Patriots are, how well they play here, and how acclimated they are to weather. You've really dug your hole back when you were playing the Jets and back when you were playing those guys, when you really look at it. So while we're disappointed, we would like to have had some of those plays go our way. That's what you get.
Why do you think you're struggling winning?
What?
Why do you think you're struggling beating a team that's got a winning record this year?
Well, let's give New England at home a real lot to say about how come we didn't win out here today. But I think we are when we run up against an opponent that gets it together. We have a tough time coordinating how we put our offense and our defense out there and have them playing excellent both at the same time. And we also know that special teams, when you've got the ability to get in here and kind of understand that when you're on a sloppy day, special teams can rule the day. And they've got a coach that knows how to play this game, and did a good job of that. My hat's off to it.
Special teams has been a problem all year.
Fellas, what are we thinking after you saw both?
Well, you got an owner that's upset, and rightfully so. Everybody went into this game today, and they were saying, hey, Philly lost this to the Seahawks. They 5-6. We got a chance to go up 2. Now we still a game away, a game up. And you want to be sitting comfortable. It comes a point where you're playing this season, man, where you play one game at a time, but you look at those records and you want to be sitting confident. This was a team that we can beat. I don't think New England faced the offense like we were, and they won.
Yeah, they won this game, and like you said, I don't think they've gone against an offense as good as our Dallas Cowboys offense has been, but the weather played a part in that, and we got our hats off to their defense. I mean, they played pretty great. They shut down our main option, and they were able to kind of bottle up our second option in Zeke. So their defense played. They came to play. It's a tough place to win in Foxborough, especially with the weather like this. But we got to find a way. We got to find a way to make this special teams impactful in some type of way. The Patriots were able to do it. Sloppy game. Jerry said it himself. And when the weather's like this, you got to find a way to make special teams an impactful position on the field, and we weren't able to do that today.
You can't care where you're playing. There comes a point where you can't care where you're playing.
Exactly.
You got to know that you're a bulldog and you're ready to break something, and we didn't do it.
You didn't see that from our defense or our kicking game or anything like that today.
All right, another quick break. When we come back, we will hear from QB1 Dak Prescott at the podium after putting up 9 points on the Patriots this afternoon, falling 6-5. Welcome back into Cowboys OT. We are going to hear from both Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. I want to hear their thoughts on this, but how do you guys think Dak personally is taking this one? We had a chance with the ball in your hands for the final drive, and then the tripping call. He's not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Nah, and I think he want that one back with Gilman, but he just flicked it out. He had a hard time catching, then he just flicked it out there, and my man Gilmore broke on it like a champ. So I know he want that one back.
There's definitely a couple throws he's going to want back from this game. The one you mentioned with Gilmore, I think he had one with Cobb on a third down. And he kind of sailed it over his head. So he was just kind of off all day pretty much in this game. Weather might have been attributed to that, but yeah, he's not going to sleep well after this one.
All right, let's check in with both Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott right after we talk about his numbers on the day. 19 of 33, 212, one interception. The whole average of numbers for the Cowboys, they were less than 100 yards from their more than 100 yards less than their average. Sorry if that doesn't make sense to you. They did bad today, yardage-wise, from what they're leading the league, 444 yards a game.
But you played a championship team, and
sure.
And I don't want to beat that too much, but understand that this team is mature in New England, from the coaches down to the players. Everybody knows their role. They're unique in how they handle things. Dak saw some weird things he hadn't saw before, so he will be better from this. But they needed this game to go 2-up on Philly.
Yeah, I think this was a great teaching moment for Kellen Moore. I mean, he's a rookie offensive coordinator going in against one of the best defensive minds that ever graced the NFL field. So I think he'll be able to learn a lot from this. Dak Prescott will be able to learn a lot from this. And I think they'll become better as a team as we go forward.
All right, now let's hear from Dak Prescott.
As I said, they made fewer mistakes than we did and more plays than we did. And once again, I'm going to bet on myself and my team every chance with the ball in my hands, with the ball in our hands on offense, with a chance to win the game. So, as I said, this one's behind us. We definitely can't say it's a setback or have a setback when we've got a game here in 4 days. So, not at all is it a setback.
Another slow start factors in, just especially with the conditions and their defense, just making it harder on yourself than it needs to be.
Yeah, we've got to figure it out. That's been our struggles all year long. The one game that we dominated, we obviously started fast, and so when we do that, we know what we can do and what the team we can be. So we've got to figure that out and just get going.
And you were backed up, all game. I guess your best field position was 36, and certainly the last 4 drives was probably the 20 to 8, 15.
Yeah.
I mean, how tough it is to go against that defense having to drive the field?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that defense is good. They're well coached. They don't make mistakes. You add the conditions. It was tough. We once again made mistakes that hurt ourselves on third down, and it's always going to be tough to win a game, especially against a team like this on the road in these conditions when you're not making plays and executing and being clean.
You mentioned they made fewer mistakes than you guys did. Is that an issue with coaching?
No, not at all. I wouldn't say that interception I had by any means was on any coach. So, no, sorry.
How about the special teams miscues that you guys made?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the iPad, not locked in necessarily on the special teams. Worrying about the next series.
You said mistakes made on third down again, but y'all have been the best third down team in the league. So how different did it feel today to struggle so much on third down?
Yeah, I mean, it was different. We didn't, and that was the difference in the game. We didn't get to elongate these drives and continue to push field position or whatever it is. I mean, that's the difference. They did. We were backed up all game long. If we do, we back them up. And that's complementary football, and we didn't do our job on offense tonight.
Did the Patriots defense show you new looks, or did they give you what you were expecting?
Yeah, for the most part, what we're expecting. Nothing that they haven't done on film. There's just a good defense that's very well coached, very disciplined, and don't make many mistakes.
What do you tell your defense?
Late in the fourth quarter there when you guys were down in the red zone?
I mean, 4th and 7. The defense was playing great all night. I think I didn't have a problem with, putting the ball, putting the game in their hands, and and then we still ended up having an opportunity to go down and score after that. So,
how frustrating was it, Zeke, that you guys just couldn't land that big punch?
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. It was frustrating. Just got to find a way to score.
What did you think of the tripping penalties, especially the second one?
I didn't see him. I didn't see him. I didn't see the replay, so I don't know.
Zeke, how close is this team to winning games against a club like this?
You're right there. So, got to go back to the drawing board, go back, watch film, figure out how to go win this game with Thanksgiving.
The last couple games, the rushing game struggled. Now today you were more productive in the run, but the passing game struggled. What does it take to put them both together in the same game?
Terrible weather days. The fact that we threw the ball as well as we could today, I don't think I would say the passing game struggled. Sometimes when I got the ball from a handoff, he was moving around in my arms. So, I think just got to find a way to win that game, that's all.
How much did the weather today kind of affect some of the things you wanted to do defensively?
I mean, it was tough throwing the ball, but I don't think the game plan changed much. Just gotta find a way to go out there and get the win.
Zeke, your thoughts on the game?
I think a lot of times this year we've talked about maybe the game plan or more running or less this, less that, but it seems like this one, everybody's okay with the game plan that they had going out tonight. It seemed there was a good balance. It just came down to huge mistakes on special teams.
The weather determined how you played the game. You couldn't throw the ball all over the place. You know, you had to be able to cradle that ball when handoffs. You know, you saw a couple of times where even those balls were slippery. You saw when Randall Carr was running for the 50-plus yarder, he almost lost the ball in. So you had to be cognizant of the ball. Guys couldn't be their normal fluid self. So you had to be aware of what was going on. It was about the short game, the run game, playing defense, being smart on special teams.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And just watching these interviews, I just see Dak and Zeke. I just feel like they were just frustrated at this game. I mean, yes. I feel like they had it going for a second, and then, like you said, self-inflicting wounds kind of pushed them back, and they just couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't get in the end zone. So just watching these interviews alone, it just seems like this team is a little bit frustrated. But like Zeke said, they got to get back in the drawing board. They got to get back in the film room, decide what can make us go and make us tick in the right direction, and hopefully capture that going forward in the season.
Yep.
4 days and you'll be balling again.
Buffalo is coming, and they've got a guy who is pretty salty with the Cowboys in Cole Beasley. When we come back, we will hear from more players from the locker room on the defensive side of the ball right after this. Welcome back into Cowboys OT. We are now going to hear from some defensive players in the locker room, as well as Travis Frederick, who was the victim of the tripping call at the end of the game. So let's get to them before anything else.
Yeah, that's obviously that was a huge play in the game. And we know they're a rush team. They've blocked a lot of punts in the past couple of years, and we knew they were going to bring pressure. So obviously that was a really bad play, bad mistake on our part, and really had a big impact on the outcome of the game.
Jeff, with the way this season has gone, how frustrating is it that you guys have been close but just haven't been able to get over the hump against the upper echelon teams?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the NFL is all about. When good teams play each other, we see ourselves as a good team. They're going to be close games, and you got to figure out a way to come out on the winning side of those games. And like I was saying, a lot of it has to do with getting the ball. That's speaking defensively. I think the last 3 games we haven't gotten any turnovers. That's not like us. And it's not if we want to beat these good teams, especially on the road, we have to figure out a way to get that done.
Not satisfied, but you think defensively they played well enough to win this game?
We didn't win, so we didn't play well enough. Did a lot of great things in the game. Very proud of our guys of how we competed. At the end of the day, it's a team game, and they made fewer mistakes than we did collectively.
How do you get to that point where you guys, you got 2 mistakes here that really weighed in the game? The block numbers they got a touchdown on, and then the interception led to a field. How do you guys get to that point where you're not beating yourself?
I think it's complete concentration. That's something that we really hound ourselves in on, but we have to live it throughout the week and then on Sundays, or in this case, coming next week, Thursday. You have to really concentrate and dial in. You have to do right longer, and we weren't able to do that today.
Jalen, when I hear stuff like that, complete concentration, journalists to me says, well, it's coaching. Is that fair or not?
Coaching?
Yeah.
I'm not a coach, but I'm a player, and players are on the field playing, and we're the ones that make the mistakes or make the plays. So for us, it's about looking in the mirror, individually and collectively, to see how we can continue to grow and be the team that we know we are.
How close are you guys to winning this type of
We're so close. We're so close. But talk is cheap. We got to produce it. We got to show it on game day.
I don't know exactly how the calls come out. I don't know how that works, and we're frankly not allowed to talk about the referees and their calls. So it's a call that was made, and you got to try and put yourself in a better situation so that something like that doesn't make a tremendous impact on the game. You got to be able to try and take those type of things out of the game altogether.
What is your understanding of the rule?
I don't understand the rule, evidently. I need to get a clarification on that. When I tried to get a clarification on that, the umpire was nowhere to be found.
All right, Travis Frederick, always classy, but also showing his irritability a little bit about that. But in the end, I know we've talked about tripping and the penalties and stuff like that, but it really doesn't matter how close you came to winning at this point of the season. You're 6-5.
Yeah, there's no such thing to me as moral victories. Yeah, you played a good game against the Super Bowl champions, but you came away with an L. And at the end of the day, that was what reflects on your score or on your record. You'll be 6-5, not 6-4. And we could have won one. There's no such thing to me as moral victories when it comes to this game.
It's amazing that only against the Cowboys that we can find new rules, new ways to do things as referees, and I'm hoping I don't get myself into trouble, but that's got to stop. Somebody got to bring that to the forefront.
Oh, yeah, this isn't the first time we've seen something like this.
Yeah, it seemed like, hey, let's try a new rule on the Dallas Cowboys.
Does it seem like it's gotten worse recently? Are we just seeing more? I don't know.
I think it's gotten worse. I'm never one to say, a penalty will cause a game, a win-loss of a game, but that tripping penalty, I mean, it was huge.
It was crucial.
It was crucial. It went from a first down to 3rd and 11, and then eventually 4th and 11. That was a crucial call, and I just don't understand. Is there ramifications for if the ref messes up? It's just we were wrong on that one.
But we don't even really probably get that either. But I will ask you guys before we go to break. Is there realistically, Barry, a chance that this team can completely flip it, turn it around on a short week, on a late night where they get home and march into the playoffs? Do you have hope for the team at this point right now?
Oh, yeah, it's always a chance, Ms. Lena. I'll be talking tomorrow.
That's why
Cowboys
I said Barry.
by 100. Yeah, I'll be talking about Cowboys by 100. We're going to get the sauce master. What his name?
Beasley.
Cole Beasley's coming back into the house.
We're going to do the sauce master in. Believe that.
All right, we're going to talk about Buffalo and what else is coming up for the Cowboys right after this.
The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Wendy's one and only spicy nuggets are back on the menu. Available at participating Wendy's for a limited time only. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
All right, we've heard from everyone on this team about what they've thought about this game, and really those thoughts got to go away quickly because Buffalo is coming to town, traveling in on Wednesday, and then you turn around with another Thursday game at Chicago on the road. Then you got the Rams, who are, not bad, and Philly, you never know how that game is going to go.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing you can't control is your emotions at this point. The good thing about this game is you got to forget about it. The bad thing about this game is you lost it. And as quickly you forget about it, your 5 bad plays, them 5 good plays, you go over it tomorrow, you get up, you come out there in your shorts and, and shoulder pads, you run around, you barely hit, and you get the new game plan because it's all about Buffalo.
It is all about Buffalo. And like you said, there's usually like a 24-hour rule when you're talking about games. But here, they got a kind of a 5-hour rule. They got to get it out the back of their head, do the 5 good, 5 bad, like you said, and then they got to move on to Buffalo because this Buffalo team coming in is no slouch. And then after that, they got Chicago, LA, and Eagles. This is a tough remaining schedule, and they're going to have to win all of those to get into the playoffs. It's going to be an interesting road.
Barry Church, Nate Newton, Lindsay Draper. Guys, we'll be back. It's a short week for us, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back up in here on Thanksgiving. We will see you guys following the Buffalo game. Same time, same place on Thursday. Thanks for tuning in to Cowboys OT.